Today I've decided to do something a little different. I've decided to do a top 5 of my favorite animes. Considering I have zero video editing equipment and my computer's 10 years out of date, don't ask it. It's a complicated story. Anyway, um, here's my top 5 favorite animes, and here are the reasons why they're my favorite. Number 5 is Dragon Ball. It was funny, cleverly written, and the only real planetary threats were the Red Ribbon Army and King Piccolo. Unlike Dragon Ball Z, where there's a new planetary threat every 5 minutes. Well, okay, technically that's not true, but you guys get the idea. Too many villains in Dragon Ball Z and just enough in the original Dragon Ball. That's what put Dragon Ball over Dragon Ball Z on this list. Now, there are no abridged parodies on this list, so don't get your hopes up, but Dragon Ball is entertaining, but not as entertaining as the other 4 ahead of it. Shall we continue? Digimon Adventures, the first generation of Digimon. Where do I begin? Probably with hallucinogenic drugs, because I'm pretty sure that's what they did when they made this show. But either way, first generation, to this day, remains to be the best generation of Digimon. And the reason I say that is not because of nostalgia, but because the characters are so much more relatable. The plot was new, and it was an entirely new thing. And, I mean, yeah, it felt like Pokemon at times, but in reality it wasn't. It was on a different level. I wouldn't say better, and I wouldn't say worse. I'd say on a different level. But, I enjoyed it as a kid, and the villains in this show were actually, in this version of the show, were actually memorable. So, that's what got it to number 4. Number 3, I'm pretty sure all of you know that horrible, god-awful excuse for a television show they called Teen Titans Go. This is not it. Unfortunately, this is the best cover art I could find for the movie, which is technically the last episode of the original series. I fucking love this show so much. There are no words to describe how much I love this show. It actually got me into reading some of the DC comics. And they were good. Not, in my opinion, I didn't like them better than Marvel. I just didn't. But, I mean, in this show, like, the characters are intelligent. The plot is not retarded on any level. There's literally no retarded levels in this show. Like, everyone here knew what they were doing when they wrote this show. Like, everyone who wrote this show knew what the fuck they were doing. So, yeah, I'd say this is definitely my number 3 favorite anime of all time. There are only 2 that top it. Hellsing Ultimate. Thanks to Takahata 101 and Team 4 Star, I started watching Hellsing Ultimate abridged. And I thought, this is fucking hilarious. But how close is it to the actual show? So, I went on demand, and wouldn't you know it, I managed to find the entirety of Hellsing Ultimate. So I started binge watching. And holy shit, is this show not only the most badass thing I've seen since I was a kid, but it's just mind-boggling at how well done it actually is. I mean, there are a few shows that I can guess, but this just kept me on my toes the entire time, and I loved every minute of it. Alucard, the Nazis, the Nazi vampires. Honestly, even watching just London, the whole fight in London just go down was one of the most visually spectacular things I've seen in a long time. But only one other show on my list beats this. That's right, everyone's favorite finger pointer, Yu Yu Hakusho, or Yusuke Urameshi, as he's referred to in the anime. This show where to begin? It's like what happens when Martin Mystery gets Dragon Ball Z powers. Let's put it like that. But this is like the Dragon Ball Z version of Hellsing Ultimate. It's rather interesting. It starts off with Yusuke, who's the, street fighting punk of his high school, and everyone's afraid of him. So, in the first episode, surprisingly enough, he dies. So, here's what happens in the first episode. He tells a kid who's playing with his soccer ball to not play by the street. Of course, being a kid, he thinks that, or he either thinks that Yusuke doesn't know what he's talking about, or he just completely ignores it. Either way. He kicks the ball into the street, and this guy just comes down barreling, not even paying attention to the road. And Yusuke sees this coming a mile away, pushes the kid out of the way, and gets run over. And that's how he dies. Surprisingly enough, the driver didn't get arrested. Go figure. But, anime standards, right? Anyway, for Yusuke, I'd have to say he is my favorite anime hero of all time. Not because he believes, not because he, is a goody two-shoes or does it because it's the right thing to do. Because he's done some pretty messed up shit for a hero. I mean, besides the fact of, pretty much beating up everyone who picks a fight with him for no reason other than, just to make the point that he's stronger. However, after the first, after the first season, things start to just start picking up plot-wise, and everything just starts piling up and getting more and more intense. I mean, Dragon Ball Z did the same recycled plot over and over and over again, right? Bad guy emerges, wants to destroy the human race and the entire galaxy and all that shit. Yeah, Goku don't have that shit. But it's the same shit over and over again, just with a different villain. In Yu Yu Hakusho, yes, there are only 5 seasons of the anime, but oh my god, are they good. I mean, the first one is him discovering his power after he's revived. Spoiler alert. Not really, he's revived in the 5th episode, so not too many spoilers there. His rival, Kazuma Kuwabara, is also a classmate of his, and it's 150 losses to 0 currently for between the two of them, and Yusuke wins every time. So basically when Yusuke is brought back to life, he's given the ability to channel what they call spirit energy, and which allows him to use Dragon Ball Z based moves, basically, energy blasts. But apparently there are humans who can utilize it without having to die. So Kuwabara eventually manages to manifest a sword out of his spirit energy, titled the Spirit Sword. Not very original, but it's interesting. In the first season, Yusuke has to hunt down a few thieves who stole some sacred artifacts, because when he gets his life back, he's also made the spirit detective, to keep chaos from ensuing in the spirit world. And he finds 3 thieves: Goki, a very, very hard to kill ogre from a forgotten age, as they claim in the anime. They call him a Kyukonki, I believe. Hiei, who is basically the Vegeta of this show, and Kurama, who really is more like Goku in terms of kindness levels, but can be just as vicious as Vegeta. So, it's kind of weird. But, anyway, Goki's the only one who actually ends up dying. After Yusuke defeats Hiei, that's after he helps Kurama. You guys have to watch the anime in order to understand the plot. I mean, really, you'd understand the plot of season 1 after the first 6 or 7 episodes. Kurama's actually a good guy. He was just trying to save his mom's life by stealing an artifact that would restore her health, but in turn take his life. So Yusuke gives his life, manages to keep his life, and then hunts down Hiei, and long story short, beats the crap out of him with one lucky shot. Basically, classic anime hero first fight bullshit. Where to go from there? So, on their second mission, they have to protect the human world from an invasion from Demon World, and Kurama and Hiei are assigned to Yusuke's team. This persists throughout the entirety of the series, by the way. Hiei and Kurama are considered good guys, despite what they did in Season 1. But, I don't want to spoil anything in Season 2 or at the end of Season 1, so I'm going to leave out some characters. Because it's good. I definitely recommend you guys check this shit out, because... I mean, if you guys have epilepsy, you shouldn't be watching anime in the first place, because that shit ain't good for epilepsy. Especially something like Dragon Ball Z or this show. Particularly this show. It's... At first, it looks serious. It starts off actually very funny. Very funny. And gets more serious as the series itself progresses. By the end of the series, we find out that Yusuke is actually half demon. So, the demons he's been fighting... well, he's... Again, like I said, he's half demon on his father's side, and like it gives him some incredibly badass powers. But I think I'm going to wrap up here. So if you guys haven't seen this show, check it out. It's worth seeing. Also, so is Hellsing Ultimate and the original Teen Titans. I wouldn't recommend 4 and 5 just because they're kind of outdated, even though technically... Yu Yu Hakusho came out around the same time as the original Dragon Ball series. How I found out about this show, actually, funny enough, was on the original Toonami when I was, like 11 or 12? Maybe a little bit younger. But this show was just so good. I cannot stress enough that you guys need to check this shit out because it's so much fun to watch. Also, you know how in Dragon Ball Z it takes them like 5 episodes to let the guy power up, and then it takes another 5 episodes for them to power up? Yeah, in this show, that doesn't happen almost at all. This show is almost purely fight scenes. Yes, there are filler episodes. Yes, there are plot episodes. But the majority of episodes involve Yusuke plowing his fist into somebody's face. So if you guys like watching that kind of stuff, hit it up. See you later.